Hey guys, welcome to the Snap Black Podcast. I am your boy Pothery, so let's get into it. So, as you guys know, which I'm sure you see in the comments, what you see in the comments, because the girls be upset the fact that I'm a view watcher. Like, I don't understand what's so bad about that. I mean, I like my girls. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't one of my favorite seasons, but I'm still a fan. So they had Stephen A. Smith on the show the other day. It just kind of goes to show that our girls are not battle tested in the way that they used to be when Meghan McCain was on there, because they had someone on the show that would consistently go against them. And I feel like with Alyssa there, I think Alyssa agrees with them more so than disagrees with them, which is not a great thing in my opinion. And even when Alyssa does try to disagree, they shut her down. But I think Alyssa really enjoys when there's someone on the panel, whether it be a guest, that really aligns with her. I don't think Stephen A. Smith and Alyssa have very similar politics, but I do believe that Stephen A. Smith was preaching exactly what Alyssa has been feeling about the Democratic Party. So let's get into the clip.
I want to talk about you for a minute.
Yes.
Your name was recently floated as a potential presidential candidate in 2020 for the Democrats.
Right.
Can I play a clip? You had some pretty tough words.
If you're the Democrats, that's why Stephen A. Smith is in the news. Because y'all don't have anybody. You don't have anybody. Who you got? I'm not in the news because I'm here. I'm in the news because the Democratic Party is here. Damn it, lower than that. Down at the bottom. They suck right now. Horrible. Because they don't have a voice. Where the hell is the voice?
Don't hold back. That is quite a voice you have. I mean, right now.
Now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but Whoopi's like shifting in her seat. She is not feeling that. Just before he even goes into it, I agree with them 100%. The Democrats are so disjointed. There are multiple leaders in the Democratic Party, but we need one united voice. Just like Donald Trump is the one united voice for the Republicans, the Democrats, and I shouldn't say we. I'm on the left, but I am not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent that has to vote Democrat, unfortunately. But I agree with them 100%. I know for a fact that none of these people better say Hakeem Jeffries is a great leader, because he is flailing and not meeting the moment at any point. It's quite sad. But let's get into their response.
Oh, in the polls, you're nearly tied with Pete Buttigieg, AOC, Governor Gretchen Whitmer. You have a higher favorability than John Fetterman and Vice President Harris. What do you make of this?
I make of it that citizens, particularly on the left, are desperate. And I mean it when I say it. I think I can beat them all. And I have no desire whatsoever to run for office. I am not a politician. I am not qualified. But I know this much: when you consider who's on the other side and how he's gotten away with saying very little in terms of being coherent and articulating his thoughts clearly and concisely and what have you.
Now, that I agree with, because Donald Trump didn't win. The Democrats lost. And I think that's a very important distinction to be made when it comes to talking about the 2024 election. It really goes to show how piss poor the Democrats are when you lose against someone like Trump, with someone that led an insurrection. A lot of Democrats, or people a lot of Democrats, not the people on the left, a lot of Democrats will say, well, this is the country that America deserves because they voted for them. And it's like, oh, yes, I do think that there is some level of blame to be put on the people that voted for Trump, especially the ones that are having voters remorse so quickly after, because obviously you should have just paid attention. But we can't do this we can't have this viewpoint or this belief that it's solely on the voters. The Democrats did not meet the moment. I said this in previous videos before. If I weren't in a swing state, I live in Georgia, I probably would have voted third party, because Gaza was such a huge issue for me. But I understand how politics works. I do not have the ability. Well, I do have the ability, but I understand that, especially in a swing state like Georgia, my vote really does matter. So I had to vote for Kamala.
This is not something that he's known to do, yet and still he has owned the Republican Party since 2015. Not only has he won, the Republican constituency has said, we don't want anybody else but him. We didn't want DeSantis. We didn't want Haley. We didn't want Christie. We didn't want Ramaswamy. We didn't want DeSantis. We didn't want anybody. We want him.
What does that
Who
say
is
about
that
the
person?
Republican Party?
It's not about what it says about the Republican Party. It's about what it says about the Democratic Party.
Why?
Thank you. Sonny, what are you missing? And you keep doing this. These people have no shame. I hate when people bring up the hypocrisy of the Republicans, like, oh my God, but they said they were going to do this and now they're doing this, or they didn't censure so and so when they did it over here. If we know that they are a fascistic government or a fascistic party, fascistic, whatever. If we know that that is the case, hypocrisy is a part of it. They don't care that you're calling out their hypocrisy. That's part of fascism. That's one of the winning points of it. We should be focusing on the Democrats and how we can hold the Democrats accountable. Even just how he explained it. The Republicans gave their base a choice and they still went with who they wanted, which was Donald Trump. And guess what? Their base got who they wanted and they won. I wonder what it would look like if the Democratic base got who they wanted and the establishment didn't put their thumb on the scale. I guarantee we would have never even seen Trump and we would have had Bernie. Trump wouldn't even be a thing right now.
Why?
Because in the end, if you think about him being impeached twice, 34 felony counts or 34 felony convictions, and they still elected him president, it's not about him winning. It was an indictment against the Democratic Party and what the Democratic Party was offering the American citizens. We might sit up there and talk about, hey, you should be a party for the working class, which the Democratic Party was once known for. They're not known for that right now. Why? Because their message was catering towards others and towards other issues. And they forgot about the people that brought them there, that elevated the Democratic Party to what it was over these last few decades. That's why they lost. He didn't win.
Now, there is a little part that I will have to disagree with him on that. There is a narrative out there that Kamala Harris ran such a left-leaning campaign, and I will say there were certain things that she said in the beginning of her campaign that I was like, "Ooh, okay, Kamala." Even with picking Tim Walz, I was like, "Okay, let me find out she's trying to win." And then in come Liz Cheney, and it was like, "Oh, so we're going to pivot to the right?" Like, what is happening here? So where I disagree with Stephen A. Smith is that I believe that we could have walked and chewed gum at the same time. We could have done kitchen table politics. We could have done the policies on the kitchen table issues as far as the economy and things of that nature, but obviously still stand up for marginalized communities, whether that be Black, brown, the LGBT community, different things like that. We could have done both. And it's just such a weird, it's a false choice to assume that you can only do one. You can only be about economics and social issues. The Democratic Party can do both.
Well,
The
let's
Democrats
remind
lost.
people what those issues were.
Sure.
Let's remind people what those issues
We can do that.
were. Making sure that families had what they need, SNAP, making sure stuff is there, making sure that the America that we all grew up in, where you could come and be whoever you were supposed to be or want to be, you still have that right. All these things are the things that the Democrats have always said. But now we have a guy who says, yeah, I'm going to bring down the price of eggs. But first, I'm going to cut all these jobs, and I'm not going to see why they need to be cut. I'm just going to cut them. Because I'm going to put people in. Well, that's what he's doing. He's cutting, he's doing all
and
stuff.
alienate all our friends around the world.
But you're talking about what he's doing.
Again, and this is before, and I think Stephen A. Smith is about to say exactly what I'm going to say, and that is, do you see how quickly, in defense of, I don't know if you guys watch Traitors, but there's a part of Traitors where you're sitting at the round table, and let's say someone comes to you and says, I think you're a traitor. I think you are the person that's behind all these murders, essentially. And if the person that you're accusing of being a traitor immediately comes back out and says, well, you did X, Y, and Z. And they're like, well, wait, why are you coming at me? Everyone knows I'm not a traitor. Well, no, you said I'm a traitor, so therefore I'm saying you're a traitor. I'm just defending myself. No, you're not defending yourself. You're actually attacking me. There's a difference. Defending yourself would be, saying exactly why you aren't a traitor. Instead of you explaining why you aren't a traitor, you are, in fact, saying why you think I am a traitor. And that's what Whoopi's doing here. Defend the Democrats and say why the Democrats are so great. You immediately go over to why Trump is such a horrible person. Clearly, his base doesn't feel that way because they voted for him, and he's doing everything that he's doing right now is what he said he would be doing in the campaign. So he's doing his job.
But before you brought that up, you brought up the message that the Democratic Party was disseminating. I'm challenging you on that. That is not what they were doing. I'm not talking
yes,
about.
it was.
I'm not talking
I
about the
was here.
intent.
We did it.
Well, I was here too. I was alive and breathing right here on the air, talking to everybody else. The bottom line is this: you're Joe Biden. You open borders. Now remember, Barack Obama deported more people than Trump did. You know what he didn't do? He didn't stick out his chest and bloviate about it. He just did it. What does Joe Biden do? Who is a Democrat? Who's the vice president under Barack Obama? He opens borders. Over 12+ million people entered the country. You had stuff going on in the streets. There was a migrant crisis here.
Now, this is where Stephen A. Smith gets me a little rattled because he loses me at times. Stephen A. Smith, that's not true. He did not open up the borders. The migrant crisis was because of the southern state red governors, things of that nature. But guys, I just wanted to show you that clip simply because it just goes to show how the women of The View are so used to being in an echo chamber now that they really need to figure out, either Alyssa really needs to get more of a backbone and really fight for conservative principles and really throw her on a table and really get these girls together, because they couldn't even handle Stephen A. Smith, which was crazy to me. But yeah. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I think I already said that. Yeah, I probably already said it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I say it again, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. This is the Snap Black Pod on the Poe Theory Network. Again, very different from the EJCD. But I hope you subscribe, and I hope you like Housewives too. Peace.